I love you down for real, for real. And I be ignoring every time you try to speak up against me or about my kid. The last time you spoke up against me, it was like, yeah, show us something. Show him holding a bottle up or something. And then shortly after, your son gets stabbed the fuck up. It doesn't feel good, does it?
The story has a clear beginning, climax, and fallout. Tia's breaking point gives Chrisean's live stream controversy, gives CPS involvement and wider implications. This keeps readers invested and emotionally engaged. Tia Kemp reaches her limit with Chrisean Rock. The feud boils over and CPS gets involved there. SA saying that everyone has a breaking point, and for Tia Kemp, that point came swiftly and with finality, after months, perhaps even years, of watching from the sidelines as Chrisean Rock stirred controversy after controversy. Tia decided enough was enough. But this time, it wasn't about drama, clout, or retaliation, it was about family. And when Chrisean crossed that sacred line, Tia unleashed the kind of wrath only a mother pushed too far can summon. Tensions between the two women have been brewing beneath the surface for a while. Chrisean Rock, known for her brash persona, unapologetic behavior, and a string of public spectacles, has never shied away from confrontation. Whether on social media or reality television, she's consistently made headlines for all the wrong reasons. Yet for a long time, Tia Kemp kept her distance. Despite her own prominence and influence earned, not just through visibility but through respect in her circles, Tia chose to observe, not engage. That changed when Chrisean made a deeply personal attack, targeting Tia's teenage son, who had recently survived a traumatic stabbing incident. Instead of expressing compassion or even silence, Chrisean publicly mocked and insulted the young man. To Tia, it wasn't just petty, it was inhumane. Anyone familiar with Tia Kemp knows she's fiercely loyal to her family. Her love for her children runs deep, and anyone who disrespects that bond signs an invisible but powerful contract. You're now on the wrong side of a very dangerous woman. Mess with me? Fine. A source close to Tia quoted her saying, "But you bring my kids into it, and you'll see a side of me no one ever forgets." And see it they did. Tia didn't just clap back online. She took tangible, serious action, filing a report with Child Protective Services, CPS, officially labeling Chrisean an unfit mother. The move sent shockwaves through both of their followings. Some saw it as a power play, others as a genuine act of concern for Chrisean's child, whom many believe is caught in the chaos of her mother's turbulent lifestyle. Chrisean's image as a mother has long been under scrutiny. Videos have surfaced over time showing her in less than stable situations, partying with her baby present, erratic behavior during live streams, even moments where the child seemed to be an afterthought, rather than a priority. Her defenders argue that she's simply a young mother doing her best under the glare of the spotlight. But Tia Kemp, and many others, see something different, what they interpret as a dangerous cocktail of immaturity, recklessness, and ego. It's worth noting that Tia didn't arrive at this decision lightly. Friends say she spent weeks wrestling with what to do, torn between not wanting to escalate matters and feeling morally obligated to act for the sake of an innocent child. The insult to her son, however, was the final straw, not just because of its cruelty, but because it revealed, in Tia's eyes, a complete lack of empathy on Chrisean's part. Anyone who can make fun of a child who was nearly killed has no business raising one, Tia reportedly said. The fallout has been swift and intense. Fans and critics alike have taken sides, igniting debates across social media. Some praised Tia for doing what others were too afraid to do, holding Chrisean accountable beyond just keyboard callouts. Others accuse her of using CPS as a weapon in a personal feud. But even those critics can't ignore the undercurrent of truth in Tia's actions. Whether or not one agrees with her method, the concerns she raised about Chrisean's parenting aren't coming out of nowhere. Chrisean, for her part, hasn't remained silent. In a series of fiery Instagram lives and tweets, she's dismissed Tia's concerns as jealousy and clout chasing, claiming that people are always trying to tear her down because she's real. She maintains that her love for her child is unwavering, and that outsiders have no right to judge what they don't understand. But those close to the situation claim that even Chrisean is rattled, perhaps for the first time. She thought she could say anything to anybody and walk away untouched, said a longtime associate of Tia's. She forgot who Tia Kemp is. Indeed, Tia Kemp is no stranger to confrontation, but what sets her apart is her precision. She's not impulsive. When she moves with intention, and this move was the kind that could change someone's life. The kind that doesn't just sting publicly but could have serious legal consequences. At the heart of this explosive conflict lies a deeper question about accountability. How far is too far when calling someone out? And when someone is in the public eye, does the community have a responsibility to intervene if they believe a child is at risk? Tia's stance seems to be that silence enables harm on for her. Silence is no longer an option, despite the intensity of this feud. One thing is clear: this isn't just about internet drama. This is about motherhood, trauma, and the lines we draw when someone crosses into sacred territory. Tia Kemp has drawn her line in bold, unmistakable ink, and she's dared Chrisean Rock or anyone else to cross it again. As the situation continues to unfold, all eyes will be on what happens next. Will CPS open an official investigation? Will Chrisean change her behavior or double down on her defiance? And will Tia's bold action spark a broader conversation about parental fitness and public responsibility in influencer culture? What began as a personal slight has now morphed into a battle with potentially far-reaching consequences. And in this war of words, reputations, and legal implications, it's no longer just about two women throwing verbal punches. It's about the future of a child caught in the middle and a mother who refused to stay silent any longer. This moment could be a much-needed reality check. Despite years in the spotlight, Chrisean still appears to struggle with personal accountability. Her recent behavior, especially deflecting blame and using manipulation to dodge criticism, has worn thin with fans and followers alike. Once a figure many sympathized with, she now seems to be running on empty in that department. From public fallouts to unstable living situations, like the time she tearfully claimed Blueface kicked her and their son out after his release from prison, the chaos seems endless. But when Blueface released footage of the damage she caused to his home, the story shifted. It became clear that her actions were contributing to the dysfunction, not just reacting to it. What's most concerning is how these patterns are beginning to affect her son, Junior. Critics are no longer entertained by the drama. They're worried. In what appears to be a PR pivot, Chrisean has been showing up more frequently with her child, bringing him to church, including him in live streams, and trying to present a more responsible front. Still, the question remains: will she take real ownership of her role as a parent and public figure, or continue to blame everyone else while the consequences stack up? Lately, Chrisean Rock has been appearing everywhere with her son, including bringing him along to her hair appointments, where she's often seen holding him on her hip as usual. Observers have started to notice that her child Junior may be facing developmental delays, something that, in itself, isn't shameful. What's troubling people, however, is that while she's making time to showcase him publicly, she doesn't seem to be prioritizing medical checkups or physical therapy, which many believe are clearly needed. Some fans try to give her the benefit of the doubt, suggesting she might be seeking help privately. But given her history of sharing everything online, that defense doesn't hold up. Initially, she involved everyone in her journey from pregnancy to motherhood. Then, once criticism mounted, she pulled back online, once again defending herself, claiming her son can walk, talk, and eat. Yet, her videos show none of that, prompting many to question the reality.
Okay? Alright, I know that you're a convicted felon. You probably can't get stuff in your name, but I'll help you. Alright? I want you to get your own place with you and your baby. You chill out for a minute. I don't know if that boy wanted you to sit down and be a stay-at-home mom for a minute and, so you can start progressing or what. But they say you making a good bag over there on Snapchat, or whatever it is. You should be able to chill out and just focus. Because we don't want you to go back to jail. All right?
In one particularly concerning livestream, Chrisean Rock attempted to reassure her audience that her baby, referred to publicly as Junior, was progressing just fine. He's good, he's strong, he's hitting all his marks, she insisted. But even as she spoke those words, viewers couldn't help but notice glaring contradictions playing out right on their screens. Junior appeared lethargic, unable to hold his head up properly, let alone sit or crawl with confidence milestones, typically expected by his age. The chat lit up with concern. Pediatric nurses, young parents, even longtime fans spoke up, noting that something didn't look right. This wasn't about shaming a young mother, it was about raising real alarm bells. Parents can recognize the red flags when something is off with a child's development, and pretending not to see them doesn't make them go away. the breaking point, the live stream, the car. And the child left behind. The most alarming moment in Chrisean Rock's spiraling timeline didn't come from a flashy Instagram post or one of her now infamous outbursts. It wasn't something captured in a stylized photo or a messy tweet. It came from a chilling allegation, one that has left fans, critics, and even neutral observers stunned and deeply concerned. According to multiple viewers and several screenshots, Chrisean allegedly left her infant son unattended in a parked car for hours during a live-streamed explosive argument with her ex. It wasn't just the claim that made headlines, but the context in which it unfolded, a chaotic live broadcast that drew thousands of viewers, many of whom initially tuned in for drama and entertainment. What they got instead was something closer to a real-time unraveling and a possible glimpse into a deeper, far more serious pattern of neglect. The live stream itself was long, heated, and unsettling. What began as a typical back and forth between Chrisean and Blueface quickly devolved into shouting matches, profanity-laced rants, and emotionally erratic behavior. In the whirlwind of raised voices and flying accusations, a disturbing detail began to emerge. Viewers started asking, repeatedly, "Where's the baby?" Some viewers claimed they had seen the baby in the car earlier, before the live stream began. And others noticed there were no sounds, no signs that he was inside the house or even being watched. As the argument dragged on, suspicions deepened. The chat section lit up with frantic comments, many of which were captured in screenshots now circulating widely. "Is your baby still in the car? This has gone too far. Call someone, please, this isn't right." The claims quickly snowballed into something much darker when reports emerged suggesting the child had, in fact, been left in a parked vehicle while Chrisean remained glued to the screen, caught up in digital combat with her ex. The idea that a defenseless infant was left unattended even for minutes, let alone hours, struck a nerve with many, especially parents. The thought of a baby being alone, possibly overheated or frightened, while their mother live-streamed to an audience of strangers, was simply unfathomable. The backlash was immediate and merciless. Social media exploded with outrage. Onlookers from all walks of life, celebrities, child advocates, everyday parents called the moment a line crossed, and demanded accountability. But what truly shocked the public wasn't just Chrisean's behavior. It was who allegedly stepped in, not the police, not Child Protective Services, but Twitch employees, yes, the platform moderators whose primary responsibility is managing content, not ensuring the physical safety of infants, were reportedly the ones who flagged the issue. Several reports claim that Twitch staff noticed the growing concern in the livestream's chat and took it seriously enough to escalate the matter, whether through internal reporting tools or direct emergency contact. Twitch employees are said to have played a critical role in alerting authorities or wellness check teams to investigate the situation and ensure the child's safety. It's a moment that should have never happened. And yet, it's not entirely surprising to those who have followed Chrisean's chaotic public journey. For months, there have been growing whispers about her erratic behavior, questionable priorities, and unstable environment. But this incident turned whispers into shouts. The image of a baby alone in a car while his mother verbally battles an ex on camera is something that transcends social media drama. It speaks to the stark reality of what happens when fame, dysfunction, and parenthood collide. Critics say the incident reveals a deeply worrying pattern, that Chrisean has blurred the line between content creation and real life, to the point where her son and actual, breathing, vulnerable human beings becoming collateral damage in her digital theatrics. Her defenders argue that she's a young mom under immense pressure, and that the scrutiny she faces is often laced with misogyny and double standards. But even among those trying to extend her grace, this incident was hard to justify, because at the end of the day, this wasn't a simple lapse in judgment. This wasn't running inside for a few minutes or taking a call. This was a prolonged, very public demonstration of misplaced priorities, and the fact that it played out in front of thousands and was potentially resolved by content moderators instead of loved ones or legal authorities adds another disturbing layer to the situation. More than anything, this moment sparked a deeper cultural conversation about the dark side of livestream culture. When clout becomes currency, when drama drives viewership, and when followers are more invested in spectacle than in real-life consequences, who is left to protect those who can't speak for themselves? For Chrisean's son, that question remains heartbreakingly relevant. He didn't choose this spotlight. He didn't ask to be part of viral moments. And he certainly didn't deserve to be left alone literally or figuratively, while the internet watched now. As the controversy continues to unfold and investigations are potentially underway, one can only hope this moment becomes a turning point, not just a headline, because if there's one truth that everyone friend, foe, or fan can agree on, it's this: no live stream, no argument. No fame is worth the safety of a child. The live stream itself was chaotic and emotionally charged, but behind the spectacle was something far more serious. A baby left vulnerable while his mother battled with her ex on camera for thousands to see. The outcry was immediate and the consequences were swift. Twitch, the platform hosting the stream, took decisive action and banned her account. But even more disturbing is what reportedly happened behind the scenes. It wasn't local authorities or concerned neighbors who first intervened. It was Twitch employees themselves who allegedly contacted emergency services to check on the child's welfare. The fact that platform staff whose jobs revolve around content moderation, not child protection, felt compelled to act, says everything. This wasn't just an internet spectacle gone too far. It was a moment that blurred the line between entertainment and endangerment and served as a sobering wake-up call to thousands watching in real time. This situation has gone far beyond social media drama. Even during phone calls, when Blue urged her to focus on their son, Chrisean insisted she wasn't busy despite doing little to respond to the situation. The irony is painful. A platform like Twitch showed more moral responsibility than the mother in that moment. That's when Tia Kemp decided to intervene. As someone who's navigated motherhood under public scrutiny, she offered blunt but heartfelt advice, urging Chrisean to step away from online battles, stop pretending everything is fine, and finally prioritize her son's well-being. Her message was clear: Chrisean needs help, and more importantly, her son needs it too. The window for sympathy has closed. What remains is a growing call for accountability and change. While the public debated, speculated, and scrolled past the unfolding chaos in Chrisean Rock's personal life, one person chose not to stay silent: Tia Kemp. Known for her unfiltered honesty and maternal instinct, Tia wasn't interested in gossip or speculation, simply voiced what many had been quietly thinking for months. Her words weren't coded in shade or driven by clout. They were a straightforward plea: Chrisean, it's time to put your child first. Tia's message struck a chord with many. Her tone wasn't that of condemnation, it was layered with experience, frustration, and concern. As someone who's faced her own share of public scrutiny and personal hardships as a mother, Tia knew the importance of rising above distractions and centering your child, especially when they're depending on no one else but you. Her call wasn't just for better parenting, it was for accountability, growth, and protection of an innocent life caught in an unstable environment. But instead of receiving the message as a tough love appeal from a woman who had walked a similar path, Chrisean responded with defensiveness and hostility. Rather than reflect on the concerns raised, she deflected, resurrecting Tia's personal pain by referencing her son's recent stabbing, a traumatic incident that rocked Tia's family and nearly cost a young man his life. It was a calculated, low blow, and one that many saw as a deliberate attempt to hurt and distract from the issue at hand. Rather than addressing her own responsibilities, Chrisean weaponized someone else's trauma to justify her actions, or lack thereof. For many observers, that moment said more than any livestream ever could. It revealed a resistance to growth, a fear of vulnerability, and a refusal to receive wisdom from those who've been there. Tia's message may have been delivered sharply, but its heart was undeniable. Your son needs you whole, present, and focused. And in a world of enablers and yes-men, that's the kind of truth Chrisean might need most. Chrisean argued that if Tia wanted prayers and compassion during her own family's difficult time, she had no business commenting on hers. She claimed she'd ignored Tia's past criticisms, but this time, it hit a nerve. Her reaction quickly spiraled from defensive to offensive, mocking Tia, lashing out, and even throwing in uncalled for, crude insults. But here's the thing: nothing Tia said was malicious. Even Blueface's mother, Clarissa, stepped in to defend Tia, saying her words felt more like they came from a concerned aunt than a critic. Tia was simply offering a reality check, something that could have opened a door to growth if Chrisean had been willing to listen. Instead, Chrisean tried to twist the narrative, suggesting Tia's family tragedy was some form of karmic retribution, which struck many as not just disrespectful, but deeply inappropriate. There's a difference between standing up for yourself and trying to justify harmful behavior by tearing someone else down. Tia didn't put her son in harm's way. but Chrisean's decisions have undeniably impacted her own child.